Hey, I'm Ethan,
And I'm Isaac.
and this is All Things Video, a podcast that covers everything you need to know about leveraging video content for your business.
Join us as we discuss the latest tools, trends, and tactics in video marketing.
Let's get started.
Hey guys, welcome back to the All Things Video podcast. Thanks for coming to hang out with us and just cover all things video. Today we're going to be covering some stuff about how to produce content for your business. But before we jump into that, Ethan, how many cups of coffee did you drink today?
I've had only two, actually. Two
Okay.
cups of coffee
Well,
today.
that's
which
pretty
is,
low.
I guess that's pretty average. Two or three
That's probably average.
for me. What about you?
One.
Okay.
You know, going
You're
with
pretty
that,
much just a 1 cup a day guy
I
these days,
am.
right?
Yep. Drinking those cappuccinos, man.
Yeah.
That
Nice.
is the way to go.
Nice. Well, I'm
Cool.
really enjoying this. I really enjoyed the first episode that we
Yeah.
recorded. It's been really fun, and I'm excited to jump into this next one. So what are we talking about today?
So today we're going to be covering the different ways to produce video for your company, whether that is doing it in-house or outsourcing. And we're just going to kind of walk through how to do every different version of this, whether you're going to do it yourself or hiring someone in-house, or the last one would be hiring an external video production company to come in and do it for you. So Ethan, what does that kind of look like from a higher level?
Yeah, so we mentioned it briefly in one of the points on the first episode, but we thought it'd be helpful to go into it in more depth for people, who want to produce video. They see everyone doing it. They want their brand to have the benefits of video marketing, but they're not sure the best way to go about actually getting that content. So, like you said, you can either do it yourself as the business owner if you're a very small business, maybe even a one-person business. It could look like just using your iPhone, your phone, or buying a decent camera, and doing it yourself. Second option is hiring some staff, some people to do it in-house, whose only job is to make content for your brand. And the third way, like you said, would be partnering with a video production company that's basically for the person who says, I have the money, I want to pay for it, I want it off my plate, and I want someone else to spend that time so that I don't have to. So let's just walk through these three in depth, starting with the do-it-yourselfer, a business owner who wants to just do it themselves. What does that look like, and how can they get the best quality content, either from their phone or from a camera that they own?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different variables to this depending on what camera you have, what setup you have overall, but I'm just going to try to keep this kind of higher level so it can apply to as many people as possible. But I'll just kind of use the example of a phone because everyone has one, right? So if you
And they're decent, right?
they are decent. There are actual movies that have been shot on iPhones, which is really insane to me and blows my mind.
Yeah.
Especially coming from the original iPhone that was like, I don't know, 2
The
megapixel.
3G, the iPhone 3G or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it was
Did
insane.
it have a camera on it?
I don't think the first one did. I think
Okay.
the second one did. But
Yeah.
we've come a long way with that, though. And there are some simple things that can really help up your game with your phone. So if you listen to the last episode, we talked about the importance of really good quality audio and storytelling over the importance of actual video like resolution, right? So something that plays into some of those things is you can get microphones for your phone because the ones that are internal really are not very good. You could get a lavalier mic, which is, I'm sure you've seen before, they clip on your shirt. Those will sound a lot better, or you can even just get a shotgun style microphone that will plug right directly into your phone. It's plug and play, super easy to use. And that's just going to make your overall audio signal cleaner and better. And it's going to kind of focus in on your voice and not all of the other sounds that could be happening around you. And then one really simple thing for a phone and honestly cameras too is just cleaning your lenses, but specifically on a phone, because I know for myself, I accidentally touch my phone lenses all the time. So you could be shooting something and it could look really kind of blurry, or like the highlights are
Those
really kind of
smudges,
blooming.
those lines going across the screen.
Does not look good. So literally take your phone, take your shirt, wipe them off before you start shooting. And then the other one is lighting. And this doesn't have to be crazy complicated. Like with us right now, obviously we're in an actual set where we have professional lighting setup. But that if you're doing this yourself and you're on a low budget, you can use just natural light. You can use the sun. You'll just want to make sure you're positioned well to where that light is first of all, not blowing out the background because you want people to be able to see you well and not be distracted, but also just making you look the most flattering overall as well. And if you want to get kind of in the weeds on that topic, we do have blogs about producing stuff on your phone and how to take your videos from good to great on our website.
For those who don't know, on the audio side of things, why is it important to maybe have a lavalier microphone or something besides the built-in microphone on an iPhone? Can you talk through that a little more?
Yeah, so I'll try to not get too overly technical, but one of the biggest things is that you can't get, an iPhone mic really close to you, right? Because it's on the phone.
If someone's filming you, they're going to be, 4 to 6 feet away or further.
Exactly. The other thing is the microphones on iPhones are meant to pick up in all directions. And without getting too technical, basically different microphones have different pickup patterns. So the ones we're using right now, they pick up pretty much straight in front of them the best. So if you get an external microphone for your phone or a lavalier mic, it's going to be directional. So you can clip that on your shirt, and when it's pointed at your mouth, so it's picking up mostly just the noise of your voice and not, it kind of cancels out the noise around you. So if you're in an echoey space, this could be really helpful. If you are outside and there's traffic, using a lav mic can be really helpful. And overall is just going to eliminate distractions for your viewers.
Yeah, I do love the idea of getting that mic as close as possible to the person, because even if I move this microphone farther away, it's way harder to hear my voice, and then when I bring it closer, it just sounds so much better.
Yeah.
So getting a lav mic or something like that right near your mouth could really be helpful.
Yeah.
What about accessories? Maybe just from a high level, what are 2 or 3 accessories that people, if they want to just start producing their own video content, whether it's a phone or a camera, aside from the camera, what should people be looking at for maybe affordable accessories to make their videos better?
Yeah, so I mean, one, if you are, this is really basic, but if you're shooting videos by yourself, you're going to want a tripod. Some way to mount your phone, or a friction clamp or something to where you can clamp it onto something or set it up on a table or a tripod on the floor so you can hit record and step back and get a little bit of distance in between you and the camera. So that's really basic, especially for a phone, because phones are so light. You don't need to get a really heavy duty one. So they can be really, really cheap.
Just make sure it comes with the adapter that holds a phone in place. Yeah.
Right. Yep. And then, like I already covered, microphones, get a microphone no matter what. Get something that's better, whether it's a mic that plugs into your phone, that is a directional mic, or a lavalier mic that plugs into your phone. Those are also really affordable, and will just take your videos to the next level. And I would really say those are the most important ones. I don't know if I'd even worry about lighting, because you can utilize natural light and make it work for you quite
And for those
easily.
who did want to, I mean, if you go on Amazon, it's not going to be professional level, but if you just want something cheap, the ring lights or the LED panel lights are actually super affordable now. And the only other thing I thought of was if people wanted the option to be more mobile with their phone instead of just stationary on a tripod, DJI and tons of other brands make gimbal setups that stabilize your phone. But I would say that's fairly optional, because even the built-in stabilization of iPhones
is crazy these days.
It looks really good. So okay, thanks. That's helpful. So that was the first category of you. If you're kind of just like a one-man show and you want to do it yourself, what about a business owner who has maybe a bigger staff and they're considering actually hiring people internally whose only job is to make video content? What kind of things do they need to think about? And maybe starting with, who do they need to hire? How many people do you think it would take to consistently produce video?
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer to that question is kind of subjective, because if you're a really big company and you want to be outputting 4 videos a week, that could take a production team of 6 people or more. But if you're like, I want to post 3 videos a month, that could totally be one person. So I think you need to divide, first of all, is this person going to be part-time or full-time for you? Because if they're part-time, then they're not going to be able to output as much. But if they're full-time, they're going to be able to do a lot more for you. So figuring out how many videos, how much content, whatever it is you want to be outputting per month, it would be how you would answer that question. And when you get into, who to hire, and what they need to know.
Only people with film degrees, right?
No. I don't have a film degree. You don't have one, right?
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
you can learn a lot of this stuff online for
Right.
the basics, and then it's just a matter of putting in the time to learn it really well and
Right.
get more creative. I
Right.
mean, we've been doing this for combined over a decade,
Yep.
and just putting in that time is really important to learn.
For sure. But you also don't necessarily want to hire someone that is not knowledgeable in all the areas they need to be, because
Right.
ideally you're going to hire that person and immediately they're going to be able to jump on board and start making stuff right away.
Yep.
So some of the skills they're going to need is you want them to be able to tell stories well, to know how to build some pressure in a story, to
Identify the problem,
the
solution,
guide, the solution,
the resolution.
yeah, absolutely. And then also having, a marketing mindset, because if you don't have a marketing mindset, you could be making content that won't perform well at all. It could be the most beautiful thing ever and not fit the needs of the company.
Yeah, I think each video needs to be made with a specific purpose in mind.
Yes.
It's
Solving
not
a
just a
problem.
matter of posting quantity.
Right.
You need a lot of intention behind each video, and where exactly is this going to fit on our website or our marketing platforms on social, or in a marketing funnel that we're building out, or an email campaign. That context, I think, is really crucial, and they need to be able to think through that from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, and then next would be this is kind of just general, but camera knowledge. Do they know a camera inside and out? Can they understand how to use shutter speed, aperture, ISO to be a player on their team and not have to work against it? Those are important things to be getting the highest quality image out there. And then obviously a huge part of this is like half of creating video or more, is editing the footage.
Yeah.
And you want them to have a good knowledge of that, because it takes a long time to learn how to do stuff really fast, get really efficient, and do it really well. And you want someone that if you're like, hey, could we add, an animation on this text here? They're not going to be like, I only know how to do still text on screen.
Yeah.
Right. Like they need to have some knowledge of overall video editing and how to, process audio in that editing process. And to just, transform that raw video clip into something that's really engaging and attention grabbing.
Yeah, and I think it's important to set the expectation for those business owners who maybe haven't done anything with video yet. The editing process, I can't understate how much time it takes. There's times we can show up and film for an hour or 2 or 4 hours on set, and then we're in post-production for 40 plus hours.
Yep.
With all the different things that we have to do depending on the project. So
Yeah.
definitely expect a lot of time to be involved in the editing process. And then the next thing was lighting and audio knowledge that, is definitely a skill that person's going to need.
Yep.
You want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, just knowing how, like, for example, in this setup right now, like the light is set up to obviously light the entire scene, so we are easily visible on camera, but it is also positioned in the proper place to flatter the skin the best. You want to make the person on camera look as good as possible. And there are a lot of different ways to do that with lighting. And some people think that you should just put a really harsh light on someone and it's going to look good. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So you want someone that has at least some basic understanding of, okay, I'm going to get a softbox. I'm going to put it roughly 45 degrees away from this person's face. It's going to cast some nice gentle shadows versus really harsh ones. Stuff like that is, can be learned easily, but you want them to have at least some kind of surfacey lighting knowledge to be able to make you look good on camera. And then audio is self-explanatory. Like we've already, touched on in the first episode and in this one, how important it is to make audio sound good. Half of the battle is getting a clean recording on the day of the shooting, right? So like you can't fix really bad audio in post. People say fix it in post. Usually they're joking. Sometimes they're not. And you can't, if you have really trash audio, you're not going to be able to make that sound amazing when you edit it. So they need to have some experience in knowing I need to position the mic here. It needs to be angled this way at their mouth. Even experience in choosing, we should actually probably shoot in this room and not this room, because this one has softer materials that are going to absorb more echoey sounds.
Yeah.
And I would say those are really the main things that you need to be looking for in someone if you're going to hire them in-house to create video content.
Great. And then lastly, if you are looking to hire people, you don't just have the cost of their time for their payroll. You also have the cost of purchasing a bunch of equipment.
Yeah.
And we don't need to detail every item because you went through some of this on the do-it-yourself section. But it's kind of all of that, but at a higher scale, right? Like if you're looking to hire someone just to produce video content, they're going to need at least some semi-professional equipment.
Yeah.
And that costs a lot of money. I mean,
It does.
just the camera we're recording on right now, just for the body, it's, $4,000
Right.
plus. And then you have lenses, you have tripods, you have gimbals, you have lighting, you have audio. So
The list goes on.
yeah, the
Yep.
list just keeps going. So that's definitely something to keep in mind if you are looking to hire in-house for something like this.
Yeah, and a really big expense as well is software costs. Like,
That's true.
I think that's something that's underrated is or just doesn't get talked about much is software costs, because every editing program, like none of them are free, at least not the good
Yeah.
ones. So
And you buy the program, but then there's the additional add-on
Plugins,
and
yeah.
the plugins
Yep.
and the templates and the transition
Right.
packs and the color
Right.
grading and the LUTs. Yeah.
Yep. So that can also be something you need to take into consideration in the overall equipment costs.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you should be, let's say you're going to hire an external production company.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have them come in and make video content that solves the problem you're having. Walk me through what some of the things are you should be looking for in, a company you want to hire to make video for you.
Yeah, I think if you're looking to hire a video production company, there's some obvious things you can start with, like requesting pricing from multiple companies to see ballpark, what is this going to cost me? Look at their portfolios, make sure that they have a broad range of skill sets in terms of, they're not just creating the same type of video over and over. Maybe
Right.
they're able to do brand videos, they're able to do short, 30-second ads for Facebook. Maybe they even have some like mini documentary style stuff just to see like what kind of skill sets do they have. And then when you enter into a conversation with some of these people during the sales process, I think it's really important to just gauge, does this company have an understanding of my business, have an understanding of my industry,
Yeah.
and do they completely understand the problems that I'm facing as a business owner, and can they help me solve those?
Yeah.
That's all business is about, no matter the industry, right? It's
Right. Yeah.
okay, customer has a problem, company has a solution, and how can we join those together to make both sides happy?
Yep.
So make sure that they understand, what you're looking to do with video. A lot of video production companies are just owned by creatives who just want to get paid to make art and make
Yeah.
awesome videos. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but if that's their main focus instead of solving problems for the customer, that's a
Right.
red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the things that come to mind. Does anything else come to mind for you for things to look for?
Yeah, I mean, just hitting on kind of what you just said, but like it is really important to find someone that is saying, I see your problem. I see how frustrated you are in this. And I really, really want to help you solve this problem to get better results. Because a lot of companies, like you said, they're there to get paid and they don't actually care if you get the results you want. So you want a
Yeah.
company that's going to be kind of partnering with you long term, that actually cares about you and who you are as a business owner and the problem you're trying to solve with your company.
I think another good thing too is a company who has a clear plan in place, a process of sorts, so that they can walk you through. Step 1, we jump on a call and we kind of just learn more about who you are and your problems. Step 2, we put together a proposal. Step 3, we go into the production phase, whatever the
Yep.
case may be. I think that shows a lot of professionalism and authority when companies do that, regardless of industry. Rather than, if you jump on a call and ask someone what's the next steps and they say, let me think about it. I'll try to get you some pricing maybe next week or the week after, or,
It's very common.
it's very common. And again, just a red flag. Great. Well, I think that pretty much covers everything for this episode in terms of the 3 different ways that you can create content. So I think it's time for the question of the day.
Yeah. So the question of the day is, what is micro content?
Yeah, so I think this would be a great one for you to answer, honestly, because you are our primary shooter, our primary editor.
Yeah.
A lot of people do ask this. So maybe just in a high level, in a very clear way, just explain what exactly is that micro content.
Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of our listeners have heard the term before, long form video, right? That would be like this. If you're watching this video right now with the podcast, this would be considered long form video. And what you can do with this kind of stuff, and actually what we do with these podcast episodes, is we take these and we take, 32 minute snippets of this, and you can use that as something to promote your company. Or if it's a podcast example, like we're doing right now, we could take a 30-second soundbite of that, and then it could be used as kind of a hook to get people to listen to that or to watch the full version of the episode.
Yeah.
So really, it's just taking a longer form video and cutting it down into bite-sized pieces that are really easy to digest and get people wanting to be more involved in consuming your content.
Yeah. And to me, it kind of just takes your marketing full circle when you can kind of connect everything, because I mean, pretty much each of these each of these podcast episodes that we're making are based on our blog posts on our website. So we start by writing everything out in a really clear blog post. Then we take that, we turn it into a video podcast like you're watching and listening to right now. And from here, we take this and break it down into even smaller stuff. So it just gives you 10 times the amount of content rather than just posting one long form video.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not doing this, you're missing out on a ton of content that you could have, because I mean, this could literally like 10 times your output basically. And if you're like, well, I don't have ideas, it's like, well, if you're already recording a podcast, take that and cut that up, and then you might have a month of posting of content just created already.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for watching again, guys, and for listening. Like we said, we're really enjoying this. We hope you guys are too. In the next episode, we are going to be talking about, once you have your videos, what in the world do you do with them? There's so many options, and sometimes people just post it on their website and that's the end of it. So we're going to talk through some ways to really leverage and maximize your results from video content. So thanks for joining us for episode 2, and we will see you in the next one. All Things Video is a podcast produced by Sleekfire. Sleekfire is a video production company based in St. John's, Michigan. For more information, visit sleekfire.io and make sure to check out our blog for a large collection of helpful resources.